Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thanks for watching today. I wanted to do a full face of Hourglass makeup. When I think about some of my all-time favorite products, some of them are Hourglass, and I realized they had almost everything I needed to do a full face except for one thing. So I got that one thing, and we're gonna do it today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I should let you know I've already put some sunscreen on my face. That's what the glow is from. Been letting it sit for a few minutes because I don't want to just throw foundation right on top of it. I think I have the wrong shade in the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. I'm almost sure I have the wrong shade. The shade is Blanc. When I first purchased this shade, this was almost 2 years ago, and I was still spending 16 hours a day in bed, and when you spend that much time in bed a day, you don't see the sunlight. And when you don't see the sunlight, you get very pale. I was like vampire pale. I was so pale, and this color was perfect then. It's not anymore, but we are going to just throw some on and make it work today. Because look at that. That's a lot. The other thing this product has going for it is that it gives really extreme coverage with very little product. Didn't I tell you it was too light for me? This used to match me perfectly, but look, ooh, I've caught some sun, which is fine. I try really hard to make sure I wear enough sunscreen all the time, but there's no way where if you've spent 5 years out of the sun, like really out of the sun, and your skin fades, there's no way that when you go back to living a normal life that you're not going to get a little, well, I'm not really toasty, but I'm nowhere near as pale as I used to be. I would say I was unhealthily pale before, but I definitely do have a little bit more color to me. If you were curious, the Hourglass Vanish foundation stick is thick enough that I actually was able to use it as concealer. That stuff is no joke. So I'm going to throw on some of the Ambient lighting powder in the shade Diffused Light. I don't know how many of these compacts I've gone through, probably 5 or 6. This must be like my 6th or 7th. This was kind of like the one product that really kept me coming back. It's not my first Hourglass product, but it's probably my most loved Hourglass product. And it's the one that it's either this or a Charlotte Tilbury powder I use to set my under eyes almost every day. And at first it was just because the powder was so beautiful and it didn't make my under eyes look dry, which is still the case. Now that I'm in my mid-40s, I'm 44 years old, the last thing I want is a flat, matte, drying looking powder under my eyes. And this powder has a slight luminosity to it. This powder is also so very finely milled. It doesn't look dry. It doesn't look bad at all. And it doesn't make me age in my under eye area, because normally if I put the wrong thing there, either the wrong concealer that's too drying or a wrong powder, ooh, I look a decade older. And there's nothing, when I reach that age, I'm great with it, but I'm 44, I want to look 44. So I want to make sure I'm not adding age to my skin by the makeup that I use, and this is one of my all-time favorite powders. I love it so much. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another one of my favorite ones. This is the Veil Setting Powder from Hourglass. This is probably, I don't know, it's, once I found this, I was starting to think, do I love this one more or do I love the Ambient lighting powder more? This one is gorgeous, but I'm just going to set the rest of my face with this. It's time to throw on some bronzer. I happened to pick up one of these Ambient Lighting Edits. This is volume 3. This was from the holidays. It happens to have a little tiny bronzer right here in the corner. So I'm gonna, it's hard because these pans are baby small, but I'm gonna use my bronzer brush and I'm gonna swirl it in there and we're gonna throw some of that on. If you're curious, this shade in here is Luminous Bronze Light. This would be a lot easier if I had a larger pan of this. That's okay. We'll just be persistent. This is the first blush I picked up from Hourglass. I have several. This one is called Diffused Heat, and I think out of all of them, it's still my favorite. I'm kind of trying to decide. Like, I've got a little mini over here. This one is Mood Exposure. But what's interesting is, do you see how each one of these has powders that are swirled together, and then they are baked like this, and each one of these is different, and I feel like this one here has more of the ambient lighting powder in it and less of the blush powder. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this. This is the Strobe Lighting Blush Palette, and all of these are more of their really shimmery blushes, and I'm just starting to fall back in love with shimmery blushes. But when I first got this product, I thought it was just going to be a glowy blush like the regular blushes, and it's not. It's like these, but with some of the shimmer that they would use in their highlights mixed in. So I think I'm going to go with my favorite. I think I'm going to go with this one, and we're going to put some of that on. I just love how these powders just blend so beautifully. That's a lot of blush. I always feel like I'm walking that line of not enough, not enough, way too much, way too much. I do that a lot. So the highlight I'm going to use today is this pan right here. This is one of their strobing powders in Hypnotic Strobe Light. I don't know if this was a limited edition shade for this Ambient Edit Lighting Edit 3. I can't even say it. But let's put some of this on. I feel like it does really bring light to the face, but it's not too much. So if you're looking for a more natural highlight, I love this one. And this is where maybe I should do a little homework and figure out whether this is a shade they have all the time or whether this was specific just to this palette. Because some of the other products that I've tried, a friend of mine has some other kind of strobing powders, and although they're really beautiful, they tend to have a little bit of glitter in them. And I don't find that there's any glitter in this. It's just like a gorgeous highlight. I do realize I have too much blush on. I always have to get to a certain point where I really look at myself and go, yeah, you did that. So when I do that, I love using this Veil setting powder just to buff over the top of everything. It helps to bring everything down just a notch. And I use more of a densely packed brush like this, and I just buff this over, and it helps to kind of tone it down just a little bit. At this point, I'm going to throw on some setting spray. So as I'm looking at my face, I already love how glowy it is. Part of that I think might be from the setting spray that I was using. A lot of it I think comes just from the products themselves, because this is not a drying or, it's a matte foundation, but it's not drying, it's creamy, it's emollient, it's really gorgeous. And all of the powders really do bring light to the face, which is why I really feel like Hourglass really does it well when it comes to face products. That's the thing that I love the most about them. All right, I am going to throw something in. I don't have an eyeshadow palette from Hourglass. The one thing I'll say is, if you start thinking about all of the powders and things that I have quite a few. I have like a ton of little compacts, but the one thing I don't have is I do not have an eyeshadow, because I think out of all the things they do well, not that their eyeshadows are bad, they're just very basic. And although there's nothing wrong with the basic eyeshadow, I just feel like I have a lot of other eyeshadows that I could use instead of those. So I didn't really feel like it would add a lot to my collection. Now, if you're a very minimalist person, I think it'd be perfect to have one eyeshadow palette that has 5 shades that you can make a multitude of looks from. But I'm going to use this right here. This is the Strobe Lighting Blush Palette. I'm going to use this center one here. I think this one is called Brilliant Nude. And I'm going to use that in the crease. What's great about these is with a smaller brush, you can actually just pick the part that you want. So I've been hitting, instead of swirling it in the entire pan, I've been hitting just this, more nude section. I am going to use some of these lighter powders, like this lighter side here, for the arch of my brow and my inner corner, and maybe even a little bit on my lid. I'm going to go back into the bronzer, and I'm going to use this little darker corner here and see if I can darken up just a little bit of the outer corner. I am going to run just a little bit of that bronzer shade on the lower lash line. I think maybe just more for a hint of a shadow as opposed to really darkening it up, just to make sure it doesn't look quite so stark. One of the things that I have been dying to try, and I've had it for a while, but I haven't actually used it, is the eyeliner. This is called the 1.5 millimeter mechanical gel liner. I have the shade Ocean Floor. I didn't want to get just plain black, so this is kind of like a navy. It looks very black, but it is the smallest pencil ever. And I love how easy, you know, maybe I should have used this, smudged it on my eye, because it smudges out beautifully. I'm just going to use this to line my eyes. I've been curious about this for a long time because Jessica from Jam Beauty 89 has been raving about this pencil. She gets the one in black. I have so many black liners, I was like, don't buy another black liner. This one's been kind of just sitting for a while, and it's so tiny, I almost forgot that I had it. So I thought it was definitely time to bust it out. Oh, I really like this liner. I even like it in this blue shade. I like it a lot. I'm going to curl my lashes and then we'll put some mascara on. I'm not sure if I love the Caution Extreme Mascara more or this product. I don't know. They both have, like, they have my heart 100%. This is my second sample size of this. I got this in the Lash Stash to Go that I picked up during the VIB sale in the spring. And I have, after trying all of them in there, I realized this is the one I wanted a full size of, so I still have the card that lets me go in and get a full size. So I'm gonna do that the next time I'm close to a Sephora store. But when I tried this for the first time, it was last summer. I think it hadn't been out that long. And what I loved about it was, first of all, you put it on and it doesn't go anywhere. That was like the best. And I remember there was one day where the temperature was like 107, 108. And normally on days like that, even like my favorite mascaras end up transferring or creating a little sad panda tear that falls down. Not this one. This one powered through all of last summer. So I'd kind of been waiting to open this one until it was summertime and I knew I was going to get like the most use out of it because they don't last that long, these little baby guys. And once they're open, you got to use them. So I'll be using this a lot. I really, really love this mascara. And I feel like it makes such a difference. And even safe to put on my lower lash line because there are other mascaras that I have that I can only use on the top because on the bottom they end up smudging and I get that gray kind of smear on the bottom right underneath my lash line, which I hate. I'm going to put on some of the Hourglass Arch Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel. I really love this product. This is one that has a really interesting brush where you have shorter bristles on one side, longer on the other. So I feel like it's really easy to deposit color with the shorter side and then just really brush it through with the longer side. I always backcomb my brows with fiber products. It does give the look of a fuller brow. The last thing to put on is a lipstick. I have been wanting this lipstick for a long time. Part of it comes from the fact that it's just so gorgeous and elegant. It's such a beautiful lipstick. The other thing that I like about these is that these guys are refillable, or you could put a different shade in here. There is nothing on the gold packaging that says what the shade name is. All it says is Hourglass right here. The name is actually on this black part on the inside, and this one is called My Icon Is, and it's a gorgeous red shade. The reason I got this one was years ago, the very first Hourglass product I bought, probably, I don't know, maybe 11 years ago, was an Hourglass lipstick, and it was called Icon. And they have a lipstick, a liquid lipstick shade called Icon, but it was in their old packaging, which was also, I love it, that it was refillable. But it was the most beautiful cherry red. And every time I wore that, I felt like it was like my power lipstick. And so I've been specifically eyeing this and this shade, and I'm hoping it's very close to what I used to have before. Let's put some on. Oh yes, this is that same red. Ah, I'm so happy. The formula is beautiful. Oh, I love this shade. Oh, it's gorgeous. The older I get, the less plump my lips are. And I was thinking maybe I need to reach for a red lip liner. I thought, you know what I'm gonna do? Instead of just putting it on this way, I'm gonna turn it sideways and use kind of like the edge just to go. And I was able to kind of line my lips with just this top side here. And I think that if I'm normally doing this and then use the edge, I might actually be able to use it as a lip liner. I absolutely love this lipstick. It's so beautiful. I think the part that, I felt like I really needed to get this again because this lipstick used to be the lipstick, it wasn't this one, but my original Icon lipstick from Hourglass was the one that I used to wear when I knew I was going to have meetings at work and I was presenting and I needed to feel powerful and in charge. Or if I was going out on a date with my husband. Anytime that I felt like I needed just like a little extra, you can do it, I would put on my red lipstick. And this looks like the exact same shade. And I don't know what it is. I always have a memory for lipstick shades. This is the exact same red. And I used to call it like my Snow White red. It's beautiful. If you're curious, it is a creamy feeling. It's not dry at all. It goes on like a dream. It just slides right on. The one thing I will tell you, it is extremely opaque. You could probably, if you were to dab it on and tap it out with your finger, you probably could sheer it out, but I love it full force like this. I feel like this is like exactly what I'm looking for in a red lipstick. And the packaging, I mean, look at that. The packaging is absolutely gorgeous. Just the most beautiful slim line. And I'm gonna love being able to pull this out of my handbag. You know, this in my fancy little pocket mirror, just like, hello. I don't know why. I always make a show of it when I have like my beautiful mirror for my purse and a beautiful tube of lipstick. If it's just a regular tube of lipstick, it's like no big deal. I can go to the bathroom and do that. But I make a production out of it. I'm not gonna lie if it's something gorgeous like this. I would love to know if there is an Hourglass product you have been curious about, one that you've been like, oh, I want to try. It's been on your list and you don't purchase it and you don't purchase it, or ones that you have purchased and you've fallen in love with. Even if there's one that you tried that didn't work for you, let me know in the comments down below. I feel like even though it is expensive, these are luxury products. I think they're like more high-end on the Sephora price line. It's not like Urban Decay or MAC. It is definitely more expensive, but I've never had a moment of regret over any single Hourglass product that I purchased. Every single one of them has been absolutely immaculate. So I can't say enough good about it. And as I was thinking about brands that I love, love, love with my whole heart, Hourglass is one of them. Thank you for watching today. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.